Yes. How? Oh yes. Then now it's fine. That's fine. So I was saying that these overhead rates, they will be based on the budgeted activity, right? So after calculating the or using the budgeted activity, then you'll be given a scenario now that, okay, assume now this produced this much and then you worked these hours. So you have to apply your predetermined rate on the scenario. So after applying, then that's where now you can come and compare this budgeted that you calculated with the actual. So if you find that you budgeted that you will pay 10,000 of the overhead rate of the, you pay 10,000 of the overheads, then you end up paying 20,000 actual. Then in that case, it means you paid more than what you've budgeted, right? So you'll say that it's an under recovery. You actually budgeted that you'll pay less, actually you paid more. So you still have to add to balance and be on the right line that you're not owing any overhead. I hope you understand that. So what do you do with the under recovery? Under recovery, it's taken as an expense. Yeah, it's taken as an expense that you still have to pay. But then not just as an expense, as a liability, because you still have to pay it. So it will be on the credit side of your journal. But then the journal will not going to focus on it. Just know that under recovery, it's going to be an expense in a form of a liability that you still have to pay. And then let's say now your budget that you're going to pay 20,000 and then you pay 20,000. You pay, 10,000. So in that case, you'll say that there was an over recovery. You actually budgeted that you'll pay more and then you paid less. So you mean that you have to get a refund, okay, that you paid more. So that over recovery will be an income. So it will be on a debit side, income in the form of an asset. It will be on the debit side, right? So in this case, you are given a manufacturing company has two. Okay. A manufacturing company has two cost centers, cost or production cost centers, department A and B, and one service center, production or service department C. And then in its factory, a predetermined overhead rate to a 2 decimal of pounds, 2 decimal places of rands, okay, of pounds in this example, but do not be confused by currency. It's not important, is established for each of the production cost centers and the basis of the budgeted overheads and budgeted machine hours. The overheads of each all right, okay. A predetermined overhead absorption, okay. The overheads of each cost center comprise directly allocated cost and a share of the cost of the service center. Budgeted production overhead data for the period are as follows. So if it's allocated, it means it's already given. They already did it for you. They allocated, they put it there for you. So what you have to do yourself, you code. You don't have to try and calculate. So in this case, they say that allocated for production department. Okay, for production department A, it's 217, 860, B, you are given, C, you are given. And then apportioned in this case, it's given, but apportioned, I'll go back to that other one. Apportionment, you have to be able to differentiate between direct and apportionment. Direct, it's in the case where they'll tell you that this direct material was spent on that one. So in the case of overheads, there are overheads that you can allocate directly. Hello.
Can you share the question paper? Like, it's no longer on the screen.
All right, all right. Okay. Waiting to share the question paper. Yes, while I'm still waiting to share the question paper there, okay, it will appear shortly. I was saying that there is direct okay. All right, share. Yes, it will appear shortly. So I was saying that overheads can either be directly traced, that okay, these overheads, they belong to this production department. And then the reason why you have to reapportion is that some overheads you cannot easily say that you spend so much on this. Can you see the question paper now? Yes, the question paper is there. So there are overheads that you cannot easily say that you spend them on this production department, as in for labor, people who are working. Let's say someone is working on a factory. So you cannot say this person, maybe if you are producing cars and then this person spend this time on this department, if they're working all the departments. So you just have to reapportion based on estimates. That's why now you have to find your situations just become complex where you have to be over recovered, under recovered. So that's the case that costs like labor, machines, if they are working the whole factory, you cannot easily trace that this cost belong to this department. So that's why you have to reapportion. So in the case where you are given that it's allocated, it means these ones are the ones that you can easily see that they belong to this production department. And then the ones that are apportioned, these are the costs that you will find that it's labor, as I was saying, you cannot easily see that they belong to this production department. So you have to apportion those costs. So here it's apportioned, we are already given the apportioned. There it is, there it is, there it is. Right. So now they say that the overhead of each cost center are directly allocated cost and a share of the service cost center, blah, blah, blah. So in this case, everything has been done for you. Department C, it's a service center. Service centers, they provide services to the production departments. At the end of the day, you have to reapportion them back again. So again, the reason why you are reapportioning is that you don't know actually which department actually used a lot of services from the service department. So you are reapportioning on estimates. Know that. So in this case, you find that okay, you have machine hours, you have direct labor hours. Okay? Then if you continue on information, now you are given the actual production cost and the activity for the same period. They say that they are as follows. So allocated cost. Wait, am I not reading the same thing? No. But then it looks the same. Oh, it's not. It's not the same. So allocated cost, department A, B, and C. Machine hours. So you can see that there are no machine hours that are on production department C, because production department C, it's on the side. They just focus on the services only. It's not part of the factory. So now we're given that 70% of the actual cost of department C are to be apportioned to production cost centers on the basis of actual machine hours worked, and the remainder of the basics of actual direct hours required. Establish the production overhead absorption rates for the period. This is what Unit 4 is all about, the production overhead absorption rate, right? So what you have to do, you just have to come there on your, when you are doing your solution. You were given that here, allocated cost, it's 217, and then that one you'll quote. When something they say it's allocated, it means it's already been given the way it's supposed to be. Then you are just supposed to come and quote the production department A and B. You cannot now go and calculate service department C. I said that production service departments have to be reapportioned back to the production department because they provide services. So you quote allocated, there it is 27,374, exactly from the question, 374. And then the apportioned, you quote again because they already did it, 45, 150, 5820. Then the total departmental overheads. It's supposed to be the total right there. So it's going to be plus this one, it's going to be 217 plus 45, 150, 274 plus 58. Then you get the total. And then the total now, they said the overhead rate, how do you calculate it? Then these are the allocation basis or your activity level. You'll be guided by your information. They say that on the basis of actual machine hours worked. Actual machine hours worked, and then where are they? Actual machine hours that were worked, actual, here they are. Machine hours, it's 13,672, 60,953. There they are. Actual machine hours. Now there's a problem with the solution because they said that we have to calculate here. Oh, on the actual machine hours and the remainder on the basis of the direct labor hours. So actual machine hours, they were 16,000, they were 13,000. Okay, wait. There was 13,672. And then in this case, where they are, 13,730. This 13,730, it's from the budgeted. So you can see now where we are. You use your budgeted to calculate the predetermined. And then now you can multiply using your actual. So in this case, you are supposed to come and say this total divided by the budgeted, and then the total will be divided by the budgeted. The budgeted is 13,730, and then the other side is going to be 16,110. 16,110. There it is. And then you'll get your amount. In this case, production department A, you'll say that the predetermined rate is going to be 19.16. Department B, it's going to be 26.89. Then now you can go to B. B was saying that determine the under or over recovery of production overheads for the period in each production cost center. Show your workings clearly. Okay. But then what you must understand is that not every time that now you have to do it in a form of this table. Anyhow that you are going to be able to. All the time this table is confusing because it's kind of going down, having to be so accurate. But then you can just start by yourself writing it in a form of a paragraph. Then you start by production A, you get this total. Production B, you get this total. Okay, C, you reapportion, then you can come in minus. So, but then let's focus here. B is saying that now determine the under or over recovery of production overhead for the period in each production cost center. Production cost center. But the reason why they are not including the service department center is because you have to reapportion it back. So how are you going to do it? You are supposed to calculate your. We have to come and do this table again. You write your allocated on line 1. Allocated, you go and check your information. Allocated, there it is. Actual, 219, 148, 219, 917. Department B, 387, 181. There it is. and then apportionment of 70% of Department C cost. So Department C is going to be this one of 103, 254. Now they're saying that we have to reapportion it back to the production department center. So how do you do that? They are going to say that, now you go to information there, you're told that 70% of the actual cost of Department C are to be apportioned to cost center on the basis of machine hours worked. 70% of them. Then now we're going to find the 70%. There it is. Allocated on the basis of machine hours. Then you will say this amount that you got from here, the predetermined, multiplied by the machine hours that were worked. Which machine hours? The actual machine hours. How many are they? They are 13,000. Here they are. 13,672. So basically, this solution, it goes back to the, I don't know, because you were supposed to understand that one first before we come to this one. The problem is that you could not hear me because of the microphone issues. But then basically what this example is trying to show is that you firstly calculate the predetermined overhead rate using your budgeted activity. And then after that, you will use the predetermined and apply it on the scenario that will be given and apply it on the actual units that will be given. In this case, you calculated that your predetermined overhead rate for Department A, it's 19.6, right? And so this 19.6, now you have to apply it where? On the actual. And then they said that the actual is the machine hours. And then the machine hours, it's going to be 13,672, the one that you are given on this table. And then on the other side, they said you are going to use the direct labor hours, right? The direct labor hours is going to be how much? How many? I mean, you cannot say how much when it's hours, it's how many. So direct labor hours, it's 27.5 for the other one, 27.5 something, but then for this one, it's going to be 16,402. So you'll take again this amount. Where are we? This one, B, 26.89 multiplied by 16, which is the hours. Then you'll get the certain amount, which is going to be how much? Calculator, which the amount is going to be 26.89 multiplied by 16953. It's going to be 45. Yes, it's 45586. Then here is the amount. There it is. And then this one, there it is. It's one of 15,000. What? It's this amount. Overhead charged to production. You're going to use your predetermined and the actual hours, right? So now this one of 70% of C, then you'll come and say number C. You see the C. You see that the overheads there, they were 103, 254 multiplied by 0.7. You'll get 7,222. So it means that you can see that one 7,277.80. So it's rounded off here. So this 70%, there it is. And then after, what are you going to do? Then you'll get that you have to reapportion 722.78, because it's 72277.80. So you round it off. Then you have to apportion this one using the direct machine hours. So after you get this amount, then you can say, now you can go and get how many machine hours did you work. And then the machine hours here, they were, these are the machine hours. So you'll add this one plus this one. And the total that you are going to get there, you are going to come now and say, Okay. And then the total that you're going to get there, you're going to come, this camera is misbehaving, it's just opening itself, I don't know why. So you're going to come and say the total that you're getting there for the hours, then you will come on this amount. If you're looking for hours for department A, you will say this amount multiplied by the hours that you worked on department A divided by the total hours. And if in this case, you'll say this amount multiplied by the hours that were worked in department B divided by the total amount. And then the remaining is going to be apportioned using what? They said that the remaining is going to be apportioned using, we are going to apportion the remaining using the direct labor hours. So it means we are going to reapportion this 30976 using direct labor hours. So you'll go into the direct labor hours that were worked, and then you get the total, and then you're going to say this amount multiplied by the hours that were worked on department A divided by the total hours, and then this amount multiplied by the hours that were worked on department B divided by the total hours. Then you're supposed to get this amount and this amount and this amount and this amount, and then you add the code, these amounts, and then you get this one. You add this amount, you get this one, right? So these amounts will be your overheads that you incurred. These amounts, this total and this one will be the overheads that you incurred. And then these amounts will be the overheads that you actually applied, that you thought you were going to pay. So as in the case of the production department A, you paid overheads of 263, right? And then wait, you pay, yes, you paid 263,739, and then you charged 261,956. Then it means that if you paid more, then there was a what? Paid more, it means there was an under recovery, right? So that under recovery is supposed to be an expense. And then the issue of under recovery or over recovery, it's that if it's an under recovery, it's supposed to be an expense, and then it's going to be on your credit side. Oh, sorry about that. The overheads charged to production are the ones that are underneath the, are the ones that are underneath the 261,956. So it means that you charge these amounts and then you pay this one. Yes, so there's an over recovery in this case, that you thought you were going to pay this amount of 263, but then you paid 261,956. Then there's an over recovery in that case. So this side, you thought you were going to pay 455, right? No, you thought you were going to pay 455, and then 455,866. Then you actually paid 44661. Then there was under recovery of 925. So under recovery, you will say that it's in brackets. No, under recovery it's in brackets. Over recovery, it's not in brackets. So in this case, it's an under recovery negative. Then it means that you have to pay to make it 0. If it's in bracket, it means that it's below 0, still O. Then you have to pay to make it 0. So in this case, there was an under recovery. It's in brackets. You have to pay to make it 0. And then in this case, is an over recovery. Then it means you have to refund you this amount. But then no one is going to refund you. It means there's an over recovery. You'll balance your books by doing the right entry there, or it's there on your slides that how do you balance an over recovery and an under recovery. But then I don't think it can be part of the test, that one. You just have to know that Over recovery, it's an income because you paid more, you have to receive. Under recovery, it's an expense because you still have to pay. So coming to this one, this example here. No, don't want that. Okay, we're going to come back here. Okay, the screen is going to come back soon. I just have to go somewhere in this other one. Yes, here we are. No. Okay, you can come. Yes, a screen will appear shortly. Yes, this is the screen. So you guys, you could not hear me here, which kind of made me find it difficult to explain the other one because you had to understand this one first, because this one, it goes as the basics for that one, because that one is from some books, and then it's similar things, and then it's, you have to understand the basic things first before you go to that one. But then let's come to this one. This one, I'll do it again. Then it was part B of a certain question. And then the company, that amount in yellow, it's 338,500. So the company was having a budget of 338,500 overheads that they estimated that they were going to pay. And then they're having 3 production departments, A, B, and C, and 1 service department, right? And then department A has 10 direct employees who each work 37 hours per week. Department B has 5 machines, right? Department C is having is expected to produce 148,000 units. So in this case, when you calculate the predetermined rate, you are supposed to use your budgeted overheads divided by the activity level. Activity level will be guided by the information or question. So in this case, actually, the reason why they're saying Department A is having 10 direct employees, they're just telling you that if you're working with Department A, your basis is supposed to be employees. So the basis can be a lot. It can be flow, amount of water used, a lot of things. Anything actually can be the basis. Yeah, but the most common ones are those of material and stuff. So if you come to now, you come to this one. So you are given here that the company will operate 48 weeks. So they're going to work 48 weeks for a year. We assume that we're working on a year. The period, we assume that it's a year. So if they work 48 hours, then it means 48 weeks, it means that's a year. So they give you that the budgeted overheads incurred directly. Once they say directly, it means it's already allocated, right? So it means that these overheads are already allocated to the departments. So that's fine. So you'll quote when you go to your solution, quote these amounts as first as they direct. And then the balance of the budgeted overheads are apportioned. Then it means these ones, we just estimate that 40% goes to A, 30, B, 20, C, service, it's 5%. So you'll simply go now and say on your solution and start by writing the ones that you are already given. The ones that are already given, let me go up. The ones that you already given. Here they are. You're already given that these ones are direct. Then you'll come and write directly or allocated. It's up to you what you write. So you write direct, you quote exactly as they are. And then the indirect now, the indirect are these ones. that they told you now how you have to apportion them. In this case, you're having production department A of 40%, production department B of 35%, production department C, and then which overheads do you even use these percentages? You use these percentages on these overheads that are given here. Just that in this case, this question paper is not clear, but the total here is 338,500. So it means that this 338,500, you will apportion it using these percentages. So as you can see on your solution, solution, here we are. So you will say 338 multiplied by the 40% of A, 338 multiplied by B, 338 multiplied by C, 338 multiplied by this one, then you'll get how you're supposed to do them. And then service department, because we have to reapportion it back. So in this, most of the cases, you have to just skip a line here. That's network. I guess I'm back. It was network. The reason why I went off just became bad. So which screen I was sharing is this one. Still, can you still see the screen? Yes, can you still see the screen? Yes, the screen is still there. So, so what I'm saying is that, okay, the service department apportionment on your information, again, you'll be guided by your information. How are you supposed to reapportion or apportion it to the service department? So in this case, they said that the service department overheads are apportioned equally to this production department, to each production department. So in this case, it's quite simple because we are given that equally. So you just have to get how many production departments do you have. In this case, it's 3. So simply you can say that the total for the service department divided by 3, but then here they said 1/3. So meaning that there is another way, can be another one that you can think of, but then myself will just say this one divided by 3, then you get here, here, here. Then you'll get the total now. And then the service department will be gone because now you have apportioned it back. Be careful, you cannot come and calculate the predetermined overhead rate while you still have the service department. It won't make sense. It will show that you don't understand. So we have to reapportion it back to the production department. So the allocation base, it will be given on the information. Then in this case, they said that what is in the allocation base? Allocation base for department A, it's the direct employees who work 37 hours per week. So you just have to find how many hours do they work in total. So if they are 10, they work 37 hours per week. And then how many weeks do we have for the whole year? 48 weeks. You'll simply say 10 employees multiplied by 37 hours per week, multiplied by the 48 weeks. And then after that, you'll get your total hours that they actually worked. And then you will say the 5 machines multiplied by the 24 hours multiplied by the total weeks. And then C, if you check C are given units, then there's nothing for you to multiply. The units are units. So as you can see again on your solution, it's the 10 employees multiplied by the hours per week, multiplied by the total weeks. B, machines 5 hours per week, weeks. C, the units just stand. So you'll come and take this one and put it as your allocation base or activity level. This one, yeah, the units there. Then you'll say this total divided by this one. Then you'll get your predetermined overhead rate. So what I was saying when you could not hear me is that the overhead rate, the predetermined overhead rate, it will be the overhead rate per the activity level. So if you are using direct material, you're going to have an activity level like, for example, 8 hours. I mean, like, you cannot say 8 hours of material, but then for material, you will say maybe 20% of material, 30% of material. But same thing apply on labor hours. You cannot have 20% of labor hours. You can either have 1 rand per hour, 2 rand per hour. If it's per hour, it's supposed to be it's supposed to be an amount. But then if it's per material, yeah, specifically material or floor area, yeah, that's why you have to say the amount that you get multiplied by 100 to get the percentage. But then if you are working with hours and stuff and units, it will be per units. So as for C, you're supposed to use the number of units, but then here they wrote per hour. It means that there's a mistake. It was supposed to be 1.25 per unit, but then they wrote per hour. That's another mistake for the memo. So let's not mind it. Just know that if you use your pay will be guided by your allocation base. So as you go up, okay, B. As for B, calculate the manufacturing overhead cost per unit of finished production in a batch of 100. So the information is long for nothing. They are saying that here we are producing 100 units. This is a scenario now. Since we've calculated your overhead rate, this is a scenario now. We have to calculate the production of 100 units. How is it going to be allocated the overheads? And then now we are given the condition that if it spends 9 direct hours in department A and 3 machine hours in department B, and then these units are how many? 100. So how are you supposed to do that? You simply go and take your predetermined overhead rate. Predetermined overhead rate for production department A, we got that it's 23.68. So how many hours is it going to spend on production department A? It was going to be 9 hours. So you'll simply say 9 hours multiplied by the overhead rate. Department B, 63.89 multiplied by the 3 hours of machine hours that it's going to spend. And then C, it's supposed to be per unit, but then they wrote per hour. So you'll just correct that and say per unit. Then you will say 100 units multiplied by 1.25 per unit, you get a total. Then you add these, then you get that the cost, it's going to be 529.79. And then to get the cost per unit, you'll say divided by the 100 units. But then in this case, that's why I wanted us to, it was kind of hard to explain that other one without you guys understanding this one because of microphone issues. But then this is the most important one that we have to understand. After calculating the predetermined, you have to apply it, and then you have to be able to apply it, as in this case. When they ask you direct labor hours, then you'll just quote what you've calculated to put it there. So it means what? Even if you calculated the wrong rate here, but as long as you'll take it here, you'll be right. These calculations are very long. You can make mistakes when you're writing, but then as long as you'll be able to know that I take this, I put it here, you can get even 100%. I can tell you that because it's not about being right. It's about applying the principles of managerial. So yeah, it's not about getting the table right. But then if you get the amounts here, and then you know that you have to apply them here, you can even get 100%. So in this case, that was it. You have to take this amount when you've calculated here, and then apply it on B where you are producing 100, then they will give you exactly as like in this one, give you the condition that it will work like this. And then most of the cases they will ask the profit. Okay, this is the cost. Maybe they tell you that the profit is having the profit will be 20% on cost. So you increase this amount by 20%, you get the profit, or the amount including profit, then you'll. However, but then this is the most important thing. After getting the predetermined, you need to be able to apply it. And then, yeah, the being of overhead absorption over and under, it comes after this one. Right. So as for this meeting, what can I say? Yeah, it's 55. You guys who are here, because not everyone is here. Okay, others, they will get the video via other channels. Okay, it's fine. But you guys that actually inbox me your details, you can ask me anytime, even at night, even the day actually when you're writing, because you've actually shown that you want to pass. And then, yeah, so you can ask me anytime, even the day that you're writing, and then we'll see to that. Yeah, so even if you do not understand anything here, even tomorrow it's another day. During the day, you can ask me before we come for another class during the night. But during the day, you can ask me anytime where you don't understand. Even if it's a question that you are doing by yourself, you can ask. I will respond to that. So as for tonight, yeah, I think that was it. Unless someone wants to ask, then yeah, we still have about 5 minutes. Yeah, you can ask.
Can you